Hiya folks, Jay here at The View for the warm-up, the short sharp data pack to get you all set for the next Leeds United game. Stats, facts, details all heading into what is a big enough game against Queen's Park Rangers down at Loftus Road. An away result is needed to put the ghost of Portsmouth to bed. At least that was rectified in the home game against Millwall just after, and Leeds went back to the top of the league and capitalised on Burnley and Sheffield United slipping up. But with 9 games left, a win at Loftus Road would put serious pressure on Burnley, kicking off at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and Sheffield United, who travel away to Sheffield Wednesday in the Sheffield Derby in that game. Last time out for Leeds, or the last couple of games out for Leeds, Dan James has been man-marked tightly by opposition full-backs and doubled up on, and Leeds will need to find some form of a solution to that issue to try and get Dan James more involved in the games. Not that he's been bad, but we're not seeing the best out of him because the full-backs marking him are making no attempt to go forward and are just staying with Dan James. He's clearly been identified as opposition managers as a danger man for Leeds. The question of Gruev and Rothwell in the middle of the park will likely be the topic of conversation. Joe Rothwell with a bit of a knock on his knee. Will Daniel Farke just revert back to the defensive double pivot that he likes away from home and had worked away from home up until the Portsmouth game? Rothwell in fantastic form and was really strong against Millwall, but did go off with a bit of a knock to his knees that will be assessed before kick-off. But outside of that, Leeds will need to overcome what has been a fairly horrendous away record down in London recently. Leeds have lost 24 of their last 31 trips to London, 9 in the last 10 ending in defeat, so a big focus on the result, more so even than the performance in this game. QPR all but ended Leeds United's automatic hopes last season when they put 4 goals past us without reply, and Leeds will want to set that record straight in this game. They're missing quite a few players, QPR, so Leeds will have an opportunity if the attitude is right and if the tone is right for the performance. Leeds could go and put 3 points on the board with then 8 games remaining after the international break and very much in the final sprint to the end of the season. We'll go through all the key information, the form guide for both teams, all up, the home and away specific forms, as well as team news, injuries and form guide coming into this game. We'll crack on and we'll start off with the home side, who are Queen's Park Rangers, and their form so far this season. 37 games played for QPR so far, sitting 14th in the league table, 11 wins, 11 draws and 15 defeats this season. They've scored 42 goals but have conceded 48 and picked up 44 points in total. They're pretty clear of the relegation zone. They're 12 points off the playoffs, so not a huge amount to play for QPR in this game. In their last 5 games, 1 win and 4 losses, 4 defeats in a row coming into this game. From a Leeds United perspective, we know we're sitting top of the table and have 23 wins in our 37 games so far, 10 draws and 4 defeats. Leeds have scored an incredible 74 goals in that amount of time and only conceded 23 in total. Leeds' last 5 games, 3 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. That draw to West Brom and the defeat to Portsmouth just mucking up that really nice looking winning record that we had prior to that. But 1 win in the last 3 coming into this for Leeds will be something they want to rectify and get that momentum back after a good performance in the second half, specifically against Millwall. We'll talk about the key form, so looking at QPR and their home form as the home side and Leeds away form as the away side coming into this. And QPR 17th best in the league from the home perspective, 7 wins from 18 games. They've lost 6, 3 wins and 2 losses at home in their last 5 games, and their away form is actually slightly better than their home form this season. Leeds' away form has been up and down compared to our promotion rivals this season, but Leeds sitting 3rd best in the away table this season. The defeat to Pompey last time out is that big blotch on the copybook. 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss for Leeds in the last 5. All season though, Leeds have won 8 of their 18 away games. They've drawn 7 and only lost 3 games, scoring 27 goals on that run and conceding just 14 goals. But it will be very much a case of Leeds putting the away performance to bed and trying to make sure they can get a result in this game against QPR. We look at the team news coming into this game. Some good news, some bad news, some potential checks that need to be checked as well for Leeds. Patrick Bamford is back in team training but is likely not to be involved in this game and probably won't be back involved fully until after the international break. No update on Max Verber just yet. He's also expected after his surgery to come back after the international break. Ethan Ampadu though is back on the grass and is training. He's doing more than just running, Daniel Farke said as well, and he hopes to have him back in team training just after the international break, and he says he might not need that many sessions to be up to speed and ready to go for the run-in for Leeds. He hopes to have him back for the last 5 or 6 games. Joe Rothwell, the concern coming into this game, especially after his performance against Millwall, he had a bit of a knock to the knee. That will be assessed before kickoff to see if he is okay to play in the game. From a QPR perspective, they're missing a host of players, but so are Portsmouth, and that should be pointed out because it's not always as black and white as it seems. But a big miss for them is Ilias Chair, who will be out for 7 to 10 days with a hamstring problem. Sam Field, Jonathan Varane, Zen Seller, Ryan Coley, Jake Clark, Saltaire all miss out for Queen's Park Rangers in this game. Karamoko Dembele, former Celtic winger, could potentially come back into the starting 11 to fill in the gaps of some of the players that they're missing for this game. When we look at a key personnel perspective, from QPR's perspective, it's not great news. Field and Chair are 2 of their standout players this season when it comes to an average rating over the course of the season. They're both out of this game and won't feature. Jimmy Devine is their best average rated player defender, so Leeds will need to find a way of getting around him. From a Leeds perspective, we had a better performance from Brendan Aronson. Didn't get the assist because of the offside, but overall had a much more involved game and was linking the play quite well. Manor Solomon back to his best as well in that game after a couple of weeks of a slightly below par performances from him, but again, similar to Dan James, being marked very heavily and getting an awful lot of attention, and needs probably more overlaps from Junior Firpo. In recent weeks we've seen Junior Firpo underlapping, going on the inside of Solomon, which has seen him doubled up on. Be nice to see those two getting back to the overlapping that was working so well during Leeds' winning run earlier on in the year. But as always, the key people are usually the wide players for Leeds, so Dan James, Manor Solomon likely to be the 2 important ones in this game, and Joe Piru, if he can find his scoring boots in this game as well after having a really good goal disallowed against QPR. Personal feeling on it was he was onside. A couple of people disagree, and that's absolutely fine. No issues there at all. For me, when we look at manager head-to-heads, they've only played each other twice. 1 win for Cifuentes and 1 win for Daniel Farke. So we will have a rubber match, I suppose, in this game between the two to find out who gets the advantage over the other one. There are some decent-looking statistics to keep an eye out for coming into this game, and they are as follows. QPR have won 5 of their last 6 home league ties against Leeds, losing just 1 in that time, and they kept a clean sheet in each of their wins against Leeds. Leeds beat QPR 2-0 this season at Ellen Road and looking to complete a double over QPR for the first time since the 2017-2018 season. QPR have only won 7 of their last 9 games at Loftus Road. As I say, their away record is slightly better than their home one, so they will try and avoid defeat. Leeds haven't suffered consecutive away defeats since December 2023, looking to avoid a defeat after losing last time out to Portsmouth on the road. Since beating QPR 3-1 in December 2017, Leeds have lost 24 of their 31 games in London, winning 4 and drawing 3. They lost 9 of their last 10, as I say in that one. Let me know your team prediction down below, who you think will come in. Score predictions will be interesting to see as well. Personally, I've gone for a 3-0 away win for Leeds. I'd like to see a nice bounce back after the Pompey game, but also I think a bit of confidence growing after the Millwall performance in the second half will carry Leeds on. Hopefully the complacency or whatever was going on with Leeds last week has got out of their system and they're ready to go and put a number on the board and get Leeds ready for hopefully a title or very minimum automatic promotion run in the final 8 games this season after this one is done and dusted and in the books. Folks, have a cracking rest of your weekend. Fingers crossed for 3 points today. And I will talk to you soon. All the best. See ya.